Hello. Um, I wasn't going to upload this football. It's taken uh latter half of July. I transferred next year over from Tomb of Eden to Red Eclipse. I just fancied leveling. Typical me. Since then, I've kind of gone back to Imp side. So I transferred him over, gained one level, and then kind of left him. I'll get back to him. Yeah, I'm uploading this one early, um, because the patch notes for 2.10 are out, and obviously, um, a lot of you will know there's changes happening to engineering. Woohoo! Excellent. And I've been thinking about the plasma probe stuff, and that's what I really want to have a chat about, you know. A couple of other things first, though, if I may. Uh, um, I can't pronounce the guy's username. Um, if you watch this, mate, Exia Magus, something like that. You're saying about some of my vids not being blocked or not able to be used on mobile use or something like that, and it probably is because of the music. Um, I've actually been trying to not use any music except for the odd run here and there. But what I found when I record these vids, if I group up, um, I can separate my, my particular mic on the vid, so I can like delete my voice. But my group mates, my guild mates who are on the voice chat with me, I can't separate that from the game sound. So what I tend to do is to just delete the sound, and I couldn't think anything worse really than having, um, you know, some gameplay footage and just someone talking with no other sound whatsoever. So that's why I tend to put the music. Um, I've yeah, I've tried the dispute thing you suggested on OneVid, and I'll just see how it goes. Um, yeah, I'll give it a try. But anyway, um, Plasma Probe. In the patch notes, they are changing it so um, it's got no cooldown. A bit like interrogation probe. You can drop it, then if you misplace it, you can drop it somewhere else, and so forth. And they've increased the damage by 22%, I think, was it? And the damage, instead of doing the first a lot of damage in the first few seconds, and then in subsequent seconds it'll kind of, the damage will get less. They're changing it so the damage will be equal throughout the 18 seconds. And when I first heard of that, I was fine with it. Oh, great, you know, it's. I was afraid that they would break it, if you get what I mean. They've kept the utility. The problem is it's going to become an even more important utility skill. The main reason for that is, and I mentioned it briefly on the Star Wars forums, in PvP at least, I don't really go looking for 1v1 duels and so forth, but yes, like any PvP, I'll be able to find myself in a situation where I'm against one person or two people and so forth, and I do need to do a bit of damage. You know, I mean, this is PvP after all. Yeah. Now, the explosive probe change, that's a minus 11% damage. I can understand that because it's low cooldown, which is no problem. but our burst potential is reduced. Now, any engineering sniper is going to use plasma probe when they're against, when they in a 1v1 situation or half 1v1. You get what I mean. Plasma probes are going to be used. But this is PvP. People don't stand around, especially when you've got plasma probe there, unless they're absolutely insane or so confident they're odd. They're going to move. Therein lies the problem. Because they move, the first few seconds is actually important, because that's when a lot of the damage is going to be dealt with. Now, if they even the damage out to the whole 18 seconds, to me, in order to get the same effect, in order for plasma probe to do the same amount of damage, you're either going to have to make sure they are stuck in your plasma probe, or you're going to have to keep on placing the plasma probe to keep up with their movement. But then you're going to be spending energy all the time, and whilst you're doing that, you can bet your bottom dollar they're going to be attacking you and dealing damage and so forth, so you can't keep on placing plasma probe and so forth because it won't so yeah, it's for utility. I think the change to plasma probe is fantastic. I mean, it's amazing. Somebody turned around and said that I don't think it was in the PTS forums. It was, I don't know, in the PvP forums. I think that people will be able to kite even better on an engineering class, and I think they're right. I mean, Civil War. If some of you have watched some of my Civil War things, you'll know how I kind of tend to move around a bit and interrupt and my usual kind of stuff. It's if I can keep on dropping plasma probe, it slows them down when they're in it. So obviously I can drop a plasma probe, they'll be slowed down. It's another form of control which I can use to my benefit. And a little change to interrogation probe. Sure, it's only going to affect one person once within that 18 seconds. But if you've got 2 or 3 people after you, you can dot them up and it's going to pause it. It's going to help. So I think that's fantastic. That's great. But damage-wise, if you're in a sustained battle, yes, it's going to be helpful. Not a problem. But it's those situations, and I hope people don't think I've contradicted myself, because if you guys PvP, you all know you get into those situations, whether you look for it or not. It's those situations where you need to deal damage to one person quickly, because every sniper has, I don't know, assassins, well, all the melee tunes, even some sages, DPS orcs will come right up to you. And that's the kind of situation where having all the damage and plasma probe in the first few seconds is actually quite good. So I find myself thinking, I think actually I would prefer it if they kept plasma probe as it is. It's our particular spec has got a lot of utility already. So by this particular change to plasma probe, they can't keep the damage like it is, because as someone else said, was it Fire Breath or Mace Windy, whatever the name is, after the first few seconds you could quite easily drop the plasma probe somewhere else, and you get that little burst of damage, so I can understand why they even the damage out. But I don't know. I don't know. So that's my thoughts on Plasma Probe. I've kind of changed since yesterday, but I was oh great, you know, it's fine. But testing it on the PTS forum is every time I go on the PTS forum, Christ. Every time I go onto the PTS server to actually test a few things, there's never any Warzone pops. And arenas, for me, the way I play the engineering sniper, if all that pops on the PTS server is arenas, then for me, I won't be able to do the kind of testing which I would like to do. Because arenas, for me, is not really the correct place to do that. You need the proper Warzone environment for me. So yeah, interesting times. But I hope you enjoyed this Warzone. And yeah, keep sniping and have fun. That was a good Warzone to play. Yeah, have fun, folks.